So you hit on something that I love. It's called the grant study. JFK was in the grant study, and a couple of things came out of that study. And what they did was this study was launched to see how can somebody live their life successfully throughout time. And they checked in on all of the participants, close to 300, over many, many years. And as you said, the most important thing are the love relationships that you create. And the other thing that they found out, they found, okay, what makes you happy? What is the worst thing that you could do in order to have a successful life? And that was drink alcohol.
Oh, wow.
And I know that over COVID, a lot of people started the habit of drinking, right? That was
Mhm.
kind of the pastime. Now, I have a very powerful story about how 8 years ago I stopped drinking alcohol. So I was working out one day and I was playing music through my iPhone. I had my headphones on. I live about 25 miles south of San Francisco in California. And all of a sudden, my text line starts blowing up. And I have three wonderful sisters, and there's two of them. And they said, Michael, please pray for Carlin Rose. The doctor said we need to take her home to die. Now, a little background. Carlin is 3 years old at the time. She has terminal lung cancer. She has hard lumps in her lungs, and she's been in a coma for 3 months. There is nothing that they can do. And I said, Lord, if you will spare this child her life and spare our family this terrible tragedy, I will give up alcohol for the rest of my life. Now, as we fast forward 8 years, I haven't had a drop of alcohol, and Carlin Rose is cancer free.
Wow.
So, and I can tell you from a life perspective, I'm Irish. My parents are from Dublin, Ireland. This is a part of our culture. This is what we do. Okay, it's true, people. But I can tell you this, it was like a lid was taken off my life. The amount of creativity that will descend upon you, the effort, the unleashing of your potential when you are not doing drugs and alcohol is amazing. I would encourage everybody that can hear the sound of my voice to give up alcohol and drugs for a year. No, well, for a month, and then see what happens. But I guarantee you it'll be positive.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that drugs and alcohol should be used as, like, a tool in your toolkit, right? So, like, used with intention, if that makes sense. So not to drink because you're bored or drink because you're sad or drink to fill time. And the same goes with when it comes to drug use, I guess, specifically talking about, like, cannabis or psychedelics, right? So psychedelics especially, like, people use them recreationally at parties. I think that if you look far back enough in time, like, those were, like, sacred plants, and they were used with the utmost of detail and attention and purpose. And I think that depending on the setting, you're gonna get a different outcome. So when it comes to creativity, I mean, I think that because of, like, biodiversity, right, everything's gonna affect someone differently. Like, I might be able to eat peanuts, and that's gonna kill somebody else. So just, like, a relatable example. But when it comes to creativity, like, we often know that one of the biggest hindrances of creative expression and, like, having aha moments, and, like, having that artistic touch is your frontal lobe, like, especially as an adult. They say that's why kids can have, like, such colorful imaginative plays because that part of the brain's not done yet. So as that gets developed and as life hits you in the face a bunch of times, it becomes harder and harder to tap into that creative energy. And they say that alcohol can actually kinda, like, buffer that a little bit, so it, like, just turns it down a little bit, and obviously, like, dosing is important, like, you don't wanna go and drink a bottle of tequila, that's not good for anybody, but, like, having a drink or 2 drinks can just, like, turn down the noise just enough to be able to, like, tap into the creative element of your brain and not, the analytical. So, yeah. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
So I get exactly what you're talking about. If you are the type of person that can handle alcohol in moderation. You do you.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, there's so many people that take it to the extreme.
Mhm.
And, alcoholism to marriage is like termites to wood. It just doesn't mix well.
Mm.
And so, you know, by this time, most folks should know themselves and just do the right thing by yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of that too when it comes to misuse or overuse or, unintentional use comes down to a lack of purpose as well, right? Like, you don't have a powerful driving force. So then you're like, "Okay, well, I'm just gonna turn to this thing because it makes me feel good in the moment."